Welcome, it's Denome, and welcome to this emergency crypto update. Now, as you can see, the price of Bitcoin did an absolute tumble yesterday. So the price fell from the all-time high down 11.5%. On some exchanges, this was even worse. For example, on Bybit.com, where I do my leverage trading, the price fell down 13% in one single day, which was absolutely nuts. And to be completely honest, I was totally unprepared for this price move here. And I shouldn't have been, but I was. And that's what happened. I will tell you the full story soon to basically apologize to everybody who was following my copy trades. I pretty much lost 40% of the account, which I shouldn't have done, but I will explain why it happened. Anyway, we'll talk about the price, I will talk about the news, we will talk about the fundamentals in this video, as well as I will give you my price prediction in the short to medium term, which unfortunately doesn't look that good right now. But anyway, talking about the story first. So what happened is I was celebrating Bitcoin breaking 100K yesterday. The last time I checked the price was $100,000 and $300,000. And then I was just reading the X every now and then while I was out. And when I was reading X, everything was bullish. So, for example, Tether, they minted $1 billion worth of USDT. You are not bullish enough, people are saying. Then Bitcoin Magazine shared this post here. President Trump says, congratulations, Bitcoiners, $100,000. You're welcome. Together we will make America great again. Just emphasizing the fact that now USA has a pro-Bitcoin president and things are looking good. And then something very interesting happened. The president of Russia also said, who can ban Bitcoin? Nobody can ban Bitcoin. And then he explained why the technology is so good with cryptocurrencies. And then we saw Donald Trump announcing pro-crypto lead of SEC, Paul Atkins. He also nominated the crypto czar, a pro-crypto guy, a friend of Elon Musk, been a Bitcoiner since 2012, and who is also bullish for DeFi and for crypto as a whole. So all of these things just make Bitcoin and crypto more friendly for regulators and just for us investors as well. So again, very bullish news. Then Mara Holdings, they completed their $850 million issuance of their stock or their convertible notes, and it was oversubscribed again. So just showing us that there's a lot of institutional demand for Bitcoin at these price points. So all in all, I was looking at this. Okay, tonight I can sleep well. And what happened is absolute craziness. So let's take a look at what happened. So that was yesterday, and when I looked at the price finally, then the price was roughly 95K, and I'm thinking to myself, this cannot be real. What is going on? Then I just blink my eyes, and the price is 94K, and then I'm thinking, I think I need to manage my positions. So what happened then? The price was 93K, and that's when I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to bail out. Bitcoin did not do what I was expecting. Altcoins haven't dropped too much yet, so I'll just exit all of those positions and gather myself and then reinitiate the trades. And when I was looking at my portfolio, it wasn't down that much, but I guess there was some lag on the platform or something. And then what ended up happening is that I lost $4,000 from my $9,000 portfolio in that price move there. And then obviously Bitcoin went down even further to that 90K mark. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm glad I sold. Now I wonder what's going on next, because I wasn't looking at the screen when all of this was happening. I just woke up to the absolute moment when everything was going sideways. Anyway, then I exited the positions, and what happened is all of the coins started bouncing backwards to the upside, and even Bitcoin went up 7% from its lows. And then I'm even more angry because if I hadn't done anything, I I would still be holding pretty much that $9,000 portfolio. But I did sell there, and I needed to collect myself. And it's just a lesson to me that don't trust the price of Bitcoin. Don't trust that you are looking at these lines here and you think that people will be buying Bitcoin at these price points. Like I have my buy orders here as well, but then it just kept dipping downwards as well from those levels. So it was a complete oversight from my part. I was thinking Bitcoin broke 100k, is not going to be below 100k anytime soon, so I can have a good rest and a good night. And it is what it is. Today is another day. So now let's take a look at what's going on with the with Bitcoin. And before I look at the chart here, let me first show you what institutional investors were doing. So yesterday we saw another massive inflow into Bitcoin ETFs. So this is absolutely bullish. Institutional investors are just amassing Bitcoin even at these price levels at practically 100k average price from yesterday. So this is very, very bullish. This is very nice to see. Unfortunately, they are not the only players in town. So the big thing from yesterday is this one here. This is the network realized profit and loss. So some people were selling Bitcoin like absolute madmen yesterday. You can see $8 billion worth of realized profits. So when we take a look at how common is it to see this spike, the only time in Bitcoin's history we saw a bigger spike in profit taking was in May of 2024. So this is the second largest selling of Bitcoin in its history, at least in dollar terms. So absolute profit taking there. And it wasn't the institutional investors who sold, and even when we take a look at the old Bitcoin wallets, like Bitcoin that hasn't been moved for over a year or even 3 years, they weren't really selling that much either. So who was selling was when we take a look at supply held by Bitcoin miners. So the supply held by Bitcoin miners fell from 2.09 million Bitcoin down to 2.01 million Bitcoin. So that's a drop of 80,000 Bitcoin. So they dropped all of these on the market. And this is again not unprecedented. When we look back into history, you sometimes see these massive drops in supply held by miners. It happens every now and then. Usually it is followed rapidly that they start accumulating Bitcoin once again, like here or like here, they started accumulating once again. So I think this was a one-off event. Maybe it has something to do with the tax season, that they want to have the profits ready, and since price was above 100k, they just decided to take their profits. I don't exactly know their motive. All we can say is that they did this selling. So I believe this was a one-off event. And at the same time, we did see, when we go back and take a look at the funding rates, we saw an absolute high amount of funding rates on leverage exchanges, which means that the leverage traders were too much on a long position on Bitcoin. So that means when everybody was already bullish, when the price started falling down, people couldn't bet more because they were already pretty much all in on Bitcoin. So that's why when the price started to fall, suddenly there were no buyers, so the price kept dipping more and more and more. And when the buy orders started to cascade, then that means that they have to sell in order to close the trades. So it just caused a massive spiral to the downside, and then it had a bounce from that 90k price level. So that's pretty much what happened, is the leverage traders got flushed out, as well as a Bitcoin miner decided to take massive amounts of profits on chain. Maybe some other people also took profits at 100k range. I saw some people boasting about how this was the Bitcoin top and see you in 4 years again. Definitely some people were taking profits at this moment in time. But overall, when we take a look at the fundamentals, we take a look at the amount of supply of Bitcoin on exchanges, this has gone down even at this 90k price range. And right now we're not seeing a massive spike, which means that most people still are holding Bitcoin. They are not panic selling. When we take a look at the amount of stable coins, this is still growing at least as of now. So we are looking at $178 billion worth of stable coins. So this is nice. Then something else here interesting, not exactly nothing noteworthy to talk about on this chart here. One thing that made me a little bit upset was yesterday before I went out, I was looking at the order book liquidity delta chart. And this was the warning sign that I should have looked at. And when I look at this one, you see that there's massive amounts of red here. And this is on spot exchanges. So like here you can see $50 million, $50 million, 11, $12 million, $50 million, and here $55 million, $62 million was more sell orders than buy orders on limit orders. So some people just wanted to sell on spot exchanges massively during this time. And I thought, okay, it is red, but it's not as red as it was before. So maybe we will see market orders as retail investors pile in and pour more money on Bitcoin, that it will continue to go to the upside. On the futures exchanges, the order books are a little bit more bullish. Obviously, they were trying to buy the dip, but they kind of, as you can see here, even they went bearish at this peak here at what is this, $99,000. So after Bitcoin fell down 100K, it couldn't hold it. Then some people went short on leverage exchanges, and it's just a massive push to the downside as well. But what worries me in the short term is when I take a look at this one right now, where is all of the spot buying? Why aren't the spot buyers jumping in on the action even at this price low of 90K? What is this? Absolutely nothing. Like nobody is buying Bitcoin right now. This is quite worrying to me. This is what I don't like to see. And even now at this 90K area, we are seeing the sell orders piling up again. So it doesn't mean that the price cannot go upwards. It's just, I'm just wondering, where are the buyers? why, why aren't the buyers outbidding the sellers? If this was a massive bull market and everybody were just aggressively wanting to get Bitcoin, where are they? So this is worrying to me. That's on spot exchanges. When we take a look at futures exchanges once again, we are seeing buying and selling about the same amounts, but spot exchanges not that much. Obviously, the altcoins were pumping better and they didn't crash as much. I don't know if this is only going to be isolated for Bitcoin and altcoins keep going upwards and Bitcoin just takes a breather, but this is worrying to me anyway. When we take a look at Bitcoin heat map, liquidation heat map, you can see these massive liquidations like $800 million here, 700, 500, 500, 600. All of these got liquidated. But even now, when we go to like a 1 week view here, even now there's 300 million, 200 million, 200 million, 150 million, 160 million above the current all-time high. But above or below here, you are seeing some amount of liquidable longs as well. Most of these got knocked out, but right now Bitcoin is kind of just hovering sideways. So now are the buyers coming in? If the buyers aren't coming in, then there's a good chance that Bitcoin goes down. So now we need the buyers. Obviously the ETF buyers, they are not buying on exchanges. So even though this looks a little bit bearish, this order book liquidity, the buyers, they are buying through other means. So that could be one reason why the spot buying isn't as much as high as I would like. So anyway, that's the situation there. Now, taking all of this in and looking at the price of Bitcoin, the first bullish thing I want to tell you guys is when we are looking at the daily view and we look at the RSI, which is the momentum indicator, you can draw a support trend line here below these RSI lows. And right now, Bitcoin price is still above this RSI trend line. So practically nothing has been broken yet on that front. Also, when we take a look at the current price action, let's take a look at the 4-hour view, you can see the price is consolidating at the moment above the trend line here. And this is a bullish pattern. So if you simply forget that there ever was a wick to the downside that took out all of the liquidity, then this chart actually looks quite bullish, because this is simply a retest of that trend line. So all in all, like, these two things are still quite bullish. But then when we take a look at history and we look at similar situations when we saw these massive price dumps, you can see, for example, here at 48K earlier this year, the price of Bitcoin, it went up in one day pretty much 11%, and about 3 days later, or in a few days, the price dumped 14%, but on the following days it kept dumping to the downside before the buyers really jumped in on the action. So this is currently what I'm worrying, is that we might see negative momentum for a while until those buyers actually come in and start buying Bitcoin. So this could happen, or who knows, maybe we just continue to go to the upside, but I'm just saying that it's a possibility that something like this continues to go on. Another time we saw something similar is obviously during these peaks and this peak here. And when we take a look at the previous bull market, you can see after we broke the previous all-time high here in 2020, we made this high of $42,000, and from there, practically again in one day, the price fell roughly 17%. But the next day was even worse, because the next day the price fell down 20% pretty much. So overall, the price move in 2 days was minus 26%. So this is what I'm a little bit worried about, is that until before those buyers really flock in, we may see another massive move to the downside. That's my worry. Now, if you had just, survived this dip here, then that's fine. The bull market still continued to the upside, obviously. So it doesn't mean that the bull market has now ended. It just means that the next few days are going to be very critical for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin price doesn't plummet in the next few days, then we are probably, I would say, safe-ish. If it does plummet, then it might be a little bit scary. So for the next few days, be careful. That's what I'm gonna say. But after a few days, if nothing bad happens and we're still above this trend line here on RSI, then I would say it's go time for Bitcoin and we can go upwards. So have a little bit caution for the next few days, and then like, everything still looks good to me. What I kind of expect in the short term is we go visit this line here. It probably will not have a massive wick to the downside anymore, just because all of this liquidity got taken out already. So maybe a small move here, and then we go back to the upside, and then I don't know, next Monday is gonna be very interesting if we go down or if we continue to the upside. So that's gonna be. I'm sorry I don't have a like a clear-cut idea where the price goes from here, but this is simply me reacting pretty much what happened here and trying to give you my best analysis of the market going on right now. In the very, very, very short time frames, when we go to 5-minute candles, we are seeing some bullish momentum on Bitcoin. So first off, we had this trend line here from $100,000 and $300,000 down to $97,500. So as you can see, we have broken that to the upside. Also, we had an attempt of Bitcoin price going to the downside, but that also got broken to the upside as of now. So now Bitcoin price is consolidating, and we have this one trend line here that also is trying to be broken to the upside as well. So as of now, making this video, this is still below it. I think we might see some bullish momentum if we break this 98,400 price point. And from there, I think we might go to the upside. but that's just in the very short time link in the next 1 day, 24 hours or so. So that's pretty much everything I had to say for this video. Again, I'm sorry for blowing up most of, well, 40% of my account, pretty much back to square one with $5,000 capital. And if you just started copying my trades, you are underwater, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and we can only continue forward from here. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks, and bye-bye.